Ladies and gentlemen, Team 2 of Centurions is here, and I'm here to show you the best filters. We've got the 10 best filters in EAFC. So if you're new around here and you need some trading tips, you're in the right place. If you want a team like mine, you're in the right place. All you've got to do, guys, is subscribe. We're giving away 9 sets of FIFA points. All you've got to do is send proof over on Instagram and you'll be added in. And as usual, guys, if you want some coins in a bit of a quicker way, if you guys are fed up of coming against neeks like me and foot champs who use loans and OP cards from day one,
I'm getting really sick of you! Get out now!
Then you need to head over to mitchcactus.com, where not only can you buy the cheapest and most reliable FIFA coins on the EA market, you'll find over 10,000 reviews from people who have used the services and enjoyed them in the past. So make sure to head over to mitchcactus.com and use code RECALL for 5% off. Now we're going to start off with the filter that's pretty decent at the moment. A lot of these players have actually had a bit of a price shift, and actually some of the ones that you wouldn't expect will fall under this. We've got minimum 10,250 in Chelsea, so you've got on Cuckoo obviously as the first one to come up, which is crazy because this guy was like 100,000 coins at the start of the game. I feel like we're way too low into the game for this guy to be this cheap. But you're also going to find the likes, if we take off any price cap, I think if we pop this to like 140, you're going to see somewhere along here there should be some Enzo Fernandez's as well, so you'll have him in here as well. So it's not just Nkunku, there is multiple players. So starting off, we're looking at a bit of an interesting one. We've got Premier League Chelsea, minimum 10,250, and of course we've got the likes of Sterling here, Nkunku, Fernandez. I don't know how Nkunku is so cheap. I just never expected him to be at that price when the game started. I mean, he was hundreds of thousands of coins at the off, and then now he's barely even breaking above the 10k mark. So you're looking at 13k for him. I think Fernandez is a little bit more, but not miles away. So EA tax on this one is going to be 650 coins. So realistically, you probably want to just grab him at 12. I feel like that's an easy way to do it. Pick him up at 12. You're looking at a 350 coin profit, quite a decent profit, especially being that he will come up a lot. You can bid on this one as well, and obviously on all of these filters below 20k you can bid, but there is obviously the potentials that it's going to be easier to snipe. So you can kind of gauge where you're at. I mean, obviously the filters below 10k, you're going to have a much better time if you are doing the bids because it's just easier. Now this one, interestingly, we got a couple players on. We got goalkeeper, gold and German Premier League. So you got Ortega and Leno. So obviously this will be a good one if Fulham and City are ever both in the marquee matchups. Maybe they'll have a game together, or two separate teams in two separate games, whatever it is. This is a really good one for that because obviously these will both skyrocket up. Now we've got Leno here. I think is snipeable on the filter. He's probably a little bit easier to do this one as a bidding method if you're going to be doing it for that fact. So realistically, we're going to pop this up to what, 600 coins maybe. So it is a good sniping filter, but bidding is probably an option you might want to go with, as Leno is close to that bottom mark right now. Now sticking with the Prem and going over to centre back, minimum 10,250. Once again, some familiar faces which we shouldn't really be seeing here. We've got Saliba almost at the sort of below 12k mark, which is insane. Then we've got the likes of Romero, who you should see a bit. We've got Ruben Diaz, who you would expect to see on this filter. An interesting way you can run this one as well is if you want to kind of go on a higher budget, play Stars Plus only, you can have Diaz, you can have Varane, you can have Van Dijk. Obviously it's going to be a Diaz and Varane filter realistically, but it's an interesting one that you can change to. Obviously on the lower end, we can have a look at our Salibas there. So if we go 11,250, oh my god, he's actually dropped to the point where he is useless. You actually have to do this now as a specials filter. So if we pop this on specials and go up to what, 60k, surely there's more than one. We got Dunk there, we got Anderson coming in on the bottom end of this. So actually it is getting to the point where that filter is becoming redundant. If we take off the specials and go Playstyle Plus, that's probably the route you want to go down with this one. Now an easy one which we've all seen available is of course striker, Premier League, English. Very, very simply a very good filter, and obviously special. So with that one, we don't need to pop on any minimums. You've got Crouch in there, who's going to come up on special. If you want to remove him, you can pop it to Gold Team of the Week. So you can choose based on what you've got. We obviously do not need the Playstyles Plus in there. That is pretty useless. But we can have Crouch in there if we need to, or we can do it as Team of the Week. So if you do it as special, obviously Nketiah and Crouch are very close in value. So that's probably a better way of doing it. Nketiah being the cheapest one is not what I expected. I actually expected Watkins, but I guess arguably is a better card. I think that card looks nice because he's got the ball in hand. It just looks cool. 18k here. You probably want to snipe him. I'd say snipe him at 17, so that one there, and then you want to list it for 18,500, maybe 18,750. It's probably the easiest way to do it. We've missed that first one. I'm sure we can get a second one, or a second one. Of course we got the second one, and right now Team of the Weeks are kind of on the up, so you should be able to get maybe a smidge more than what they are worth. And next up, we've got the first women's filter of the video. We've got striker, Barclays Premier League women, and Man United. Now for this one, obviously bidding's going to be easier because you do have some commons in here. So if you pop this to, it looked like more like a 700 coiner right there. 600 coins, you've got a couple here, as you can see. If we take off the price cap, there is a couple more players in there. So you've got the likes of Casey in there as well, who seemingly is actually going for a lot more. Then we got Ivana Fuso. So a good way to do this is probably to break it down by popping in Brazil, because then you get rid of the English girl, who seems to be way cheaper than the other two. Let's just have a look at what the K mark is looking like. Nothing. So that does seem like a good sign for popping this on a 2.2 with Brazil. 1.8 there. Okay, this looks like the mark. I reckon 1.7 they cap out. Right, there you go. So EA tax on this is going to be 90 coins. At 1.6, you make 110 coins per card, which is actually quite good. You can pop it to 1.5 and make 210 a card. It is just about what you're sort of needing in terms of your card there. Do you need more profit? Do you want to risk it and just go for that lower amount, see if you can just get more out of it? It's up to yourselves. Obviously, as a bidding filter, the ones below 5k are the easiest for bids. I'd always suggest going below 10. Between 10 and 20 is also still good. When you go past that, it's so hard to win bids, in my opinion, especially in high peak times. It's just not realistic. Now for the next two, we're going to head over to La Liga, and they're going to be sort of a accumulation of two filters. So first of all, we've got centre mid, La Liga, German. This one, we should all know it by now. If you don't know this filter this year, you're silly, because we've got Gundogan and we've got Cruz, both of them in the same league now. Same position, same nation. You guys know how easy that makes the filters. I mean, it looks like they've sawn up because obviously we've got a lot of fodder draining at the minute, so things are just getting a little bit more expensive. At the 12k 11,750 mark, you're absolutely laughing. You'll make a ton of profit on these guys, and I would say bidding's not worth it because they're so usable for FBCs, but at that 13,250 mark, you've got a big profit margin. They can sell for as low as like a K, so realistically you can make up to 11 or 12k a card. Now the other version, or the other centre mid La Liga filter, would be solely Real Madrid, but you're going to want to take off the gold rare and go for special. This one, really simply, Valverde, unreal, Bellingham, unreal, Modric, unreal. We've then got Bellingham's inform as well. You have a ton of cards here. Now Bellingham's inform should have shot down today. I would expect nearer the 300k mark than it was before. It looks like it hasn't much, which is pretty crazy. It should be a lot cheaper, but you can do this. Obviously this is a much higher end of filter, but it gives you a bit of a budget for any budget. Now, next up, we have two that you can switch between pretty quickly. So this is, I think, 8 and 9 out of the 10 guys. We're getting on. So obviously, you're looking at about 750 there as the kind of knockoff point. 800 coins, you've got a few here. So you can see Paqueta is coming in there. Now, once again, this is one that might be worth doing the bids on. I do believe that Paqueta can show up for 700. You just need to sell him for 900 coins to be making a reasonable amount of profit off that, or pick up at 750, sell on at 900. So you've got options there. Pereira obviously can go for as low as 400. So you're making a decent bit of profit on him. So you've got a decent filter there, and obviously, as I say, there's a lot of profit available, of course, on the bidding option. Now the other option with this is if you take this over to England. As you can see, it's a little bit better price wise, I think, just over the mark, and we've got less gold rares. So looking at that 800 mark, once again, pop it down to 650. Anything you get very easily is going to be good profit. Obviously, you're going to have a bit of competition because this is evolution sniping, so you're looking at not bidding would be a good start. That would definitely be a brilliant start. Gibbs White, I think his missus is Leng. I don't know why I know that, but I'm pretty sure he was on like a show and they were talking about how Leng his missus was. Don't know how I've just punched myself in the dick for the controller. Right, feel like that was instant karma for talking about his missus. I won't do that again. And we're going to finish off with a nice and simple Premier League filter. So Premier League, minimum 10,250. And a nation that I hate to see in a filter, because obviously English versus Scottish, we should always be beating them, absolutely. But we've got McTominay in there. We don't want to see many Scottish players in filters, but we'll allow it for the occasion. You got Robertson and McTominay pretty much on the same price, which means it's absolutely ideal. And the other thing, it's absolutely ideal for you guys, is to subscribe right now. So make sure to go do that, and I'll see you guys. Perfect timing tomorrow.